Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back again to another video podcast episode. Shh, guys. Permission to follow your inner GPS. And today's beautiful guest is Rachel Cooley. She and I first met. We were trying to figure this out. We were doing a little bit of chitter chatter before we pushed the button. And it's been probably 4 years ago when I did my very first summit. Oh my gosh. Oh, such a journey. Such a journey. Anyway, this beautiful lady, oops. Hang on a second. I'm pushing buttons. Sorry, guys. Okay. No. That's what we're doing. All right. So Rachel Cooley, holy smokes. So the techie angels are having fun with me at the moment because that's the way it goes. And we have a full moon. So, that's at least when we're doing this right now. So Rachel and I are pretty used to each other. And as soon as we get together and start chitter-chattering, it's like not dozens, but a multitude of angels comes in on each side because Rachel Cooley also works with angels. And she's amazing. She is absolutely, well, I've already done the chitter chatter enough. So let's welcome our beautiful guest. Please, Rachel, we're so happy to have you. So welcome.
Thank you, Terry Marie. I'm so thrilled to be here. Again,
yes, absolutely. Every time we have some kind of a recording event, whether it's a summit or an interview series or a podcast, I go, okay, Rachel, want to play again? And she goes, yeah.
I always say, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So please tell our listeners who you are and what it is you do.
All right. So I am Rachel Cooley. So thrilled to be here with you, Terry Marie. And what I do is I work with the angels. I support my clients in releasing stress, worries, fears, anxiety with the angels, to the angels, so that they can feel more relaxed, restored, revitalized, and back on their life path. Yes.
That's 2 mouthfuls.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yes. I'm certified by Doreen Virtue. I was originally certified by Doreen back in 1999. Originally, my certification was as a certified spiritual counselor, and then the title shifted as her work shifted to become angel therapy practitioner. Mm-hmm. And then years later, I added on also a certification with her, a certified angel card reader as well.
Nice. And you do a lot of work out of East West?
Yes, East West Bookshop in Mountain View, California. Yes.
Excellent. I see some of your posts here and there. So did you know that this is what you wanted to do your whole life, or?
I would say no. The angels brought it to me. It was an absolute miracle how it all came through.
Share that with us, would you please? How did that come through? How did you get started? And it's like, okay, I'm going to do what?
I know. So I'll circle back into my life, and I would say I became really open to spirituality with my mom as a young woman in my early 20s. Throughout my 20s, she really opened me up to spirituality and different modalities within spirituality. And then back in 1998, I had an experience with my mom where we were driving and the road became icy. And I'm telling the story because this is like right before I started working with the angels, but we had an experience where, thank God, an angel told me what to do on my left ear. I was sliding on the road on the ice, black ice, and I got guidance in my left ear to get my foot off the brake. So I really feel that my angel saved our lives. I was with my mom, and I was guided what to do, and luckily I listened.
Yeah, that's the big part, listening.
Yes, I received the guidance, and I listened, and we went off the side of the road in a beautiful snowbank near a phone where I could call for help, because this is right before I had a cell phone in 98. But that experience was a real light bulb. I didn't necessarily at the time think that was an angel, but I knew that it was a divine being that saved us. Mm-hmm. And within a few months after that, I heard about Doreen Virtue and her book, Angel Therapy. And I was very intrigued with the title, and I knew I needed to go get that book. So I went to East West, where I am now as a reader, and I bought the book. So it's beautiful, full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knew, just by going into that particular bookstore, that you would now be a primary there and helping others. What were some of the obstacles or the challenges along the way in actually, okay, so you slid on the black ice, you got the guidance, you listened, you went into a snowbank, found a phone, because back then there were no such thing as a cell phone, and even if you had one, nobody else did.
I know.
So what are some of the steps that you took or worked through to get where you are?
Great question. I would say the steps that I took were following my guidance one step at a time. So I originally got the guidance to get the book.
Okay.
And I got the guidance to read the book, not just put it on myself.
Yeah, some of my books are like, okay, I need to get to that one 5 years later.
I know, I've heard that called shelf help.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, but I did get to the book, and I went straight to the section on how the angels could help me in my life. And
Okay.
the first modality in which I loved working with the angels to help me was to release stress and fear and worries, because I tended to be a worrier. I still do have worries come in. We're human, right? But I have my tools. I know.
Dang it.
I know.
Anyway.
So that was the first tool that I went with. Like, okay, I can literally ask the angels to help me and ask them to take my fears from me, and I can literally hand them over to them. That was one of the first techniques that I learned, and I started doing it, and I found great relief in doing that. So
you did not allow this cute little puppy,
yes,
or kitty cat or whatever, to get in the way, at least not very much. Yes. So how did so many of us have either figured out as an early child or a young child and then turned it off or hid it or, stayed in the back. And here you are saying, well, I followed guidance and we went into softly into a snowbank. I went to the bookstore, then I started reading it, la, la, la. Was it that simple for you? And it might be.
There were more steps. There was more involved. So I read the book, and then I found out that Doreen Virtue was coming to my local area. And I was like, that's amazing. I've never heard of this woman. I'm reading the book, and she's coming to town. It was like, see, I got one step led to the next, to the next. That's what I feel that divine guidance is. We get one step at a time.
Yes. So
yes.
How would you help others to know or to trust the steps? Because you had already progressed or processed enough to allow yourself to take a step, hear, sense, or feel the guidance, follow it, and then take the next one as it was revealed. But most people don't do it that way.
That's a good point. Well, you know what? I have to say, Terry Marie, when I took those steps, it felt so right for me to take that step. And I feel that that's one of the calling cards of divine guidance, is that it feels good, it feels right, and it falls into place. Sometimes more easily than others, but in this case, it just felt right. I took the steps, and everything fell into place. I heard Doreen speak. She signed my book. I walked away. I was strongly guided to go back to talk to her.
Good.
In my mind, my angels were talking to me in my mind, and I was getting from them, you've got to go back to talk to Doreen. And my ego mind was like, what, me? Why would I go back?
So who am I?
Who am I? I just saw her. I was embarrassed, but I got such strong guidance. I had to go back. So I listened. to that guidance. It was super strong. And I went back to talk to her, and she told me about some courses she had coming up. And I, on full faith, took those courses and then took her certification.
Good. Yes. That is so important, because so many people ask and then they're like, well, who am I? They're not going to hear me. They're not going to answer me. They're not going to. And they're absolutely right. They're not going to, because they've already put that filter or that block up.
Right.
You, thanks to your mom, helped you work through those so that you were able to actually follow it, even though it's like, I'm going to go talk to Doreen. What are you guys, nuts?
I know. I was like, this was there. Why would I go back? But it was so strong. You must go back to talk to her. So I went. I went back, and I am so grateful that I did. I felt like it was a pivotal moment in my life. Will Rachel go back to talk to Doreen, or will she not? And I chose to go back to talk to her.
Share with our viewers, please, at least one obstacle or challenge that, maybe it was transitioning from a job or going into this full time, or, because there are so many, and that's the whole purpose of this, is to help others follow their own guided purpose soul path, whatever that is for them. Whether it's an angel reader, a healer, a graphic designer working with spiritual people, that's a challenge all in itself, because we never know what we want until the last second. It seems like, right? Until we get the download. Have you got the download yet? No. But please share with our viewers at least one challenge or obstacle in, yes, you followed the steps, but how did you transition into doing this professionally? That's huge.
That is huge. And thank you for asking. That's super important. So when I initially got certified by Doreen Virtue, I was working full time, and I was trying to figure out how am I going to integrate this work into my full time job and my full schedule. So what I did was, it was a divine thing, but I met, of course, with another student in Doreen's course who lived in my area in the Bay Area of California, and he lives really close to me, and he suggested that we start an angel healing circle. So that's how I started. We co-created, co-facilitated an angel circle twice a month. So initially I kept that full-time job, and I did the circles on part-time, two evenings a month. It was very easy to incorporate that into my schedule. And also through that experience of co-facilitating, I became more confident in my connection with the angels and in helping to bring that connection and healing to the participants who came to our circles.
That's so important. I remember starting all of this part-time too. And when you do this work, it's really important to feel confident. And that's getting the human out of the way as much as possible, because, for years I never told anybody that I talked to angels. I never considered that I couldn't. So I just started doing it. Sharing it with others? Yeah, not so much.
That's a good thing that you mentioned that, because I didn't share it with too many people initially either. Yes, it was just as I became more confident and as it became more a part of my life that I started sharing it with more people, friends and family.
So when did you make the transition from part-time to 3/4 or straight into full-time?
Yes. So like I said, I initially did the part-time, kept the full-time job, and then another part of my path revealed itself in that I met my soulmate. Who I became engaged with within like about 5 months. And through becoming engaged to him and that whole process, I was able to have more stability financially. So I was able to, he was a big part of me being able to make that transition out of working full time, because he was helping to support me while I was building my angel work, my business.
Very nice. Not very many people have that.
Yes, I realize that, and I'm so grateful, because that's a big part. That's why I want to share it, because it was a big part of my personal journey, was that he enabled me to be able to do that.
I want to take a moment and just celebrate and honor that, because so many people pretend like they're the only person in the whole world supporting themselves. Many are. And there are others who kind of hide that or put that in the back. And there's nothing wrong with what, I'm not poo-pooing, blaming, judging, none of that stuff. It's just about being authentic and genuine. Because this was part of your path. And your soulmate's path. It's not just you lopping onto him, because it was, I'm getting the sense there were at least 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 4 discussions about this before you actually started doing that part. And
Yes.
it's amazing because when there is a genuine, okay, thank you, commitment, desire, yes, but a commitment, somehow the way will be made. Now, that's not part of an affirmation. Take the somehow out, okay, out of the affirmations. The somehow doesn't go in there. It's just when we decide to do this work, there's also, people call it taking the leap of faith. I call it stepping into faith, or leaping. I call it stepping into faith, because that in itself is a leap.
Yes.
Even with the support of your soulmate, who was your then a fiance, now husband,
Yes.
there was still a lot of trust, because when is this going to take off, and all of these kinds of things. So how long did it take you to actually,
Yes, go into this more as more of a full-time thing. It's interesting as we're talking about my journey. So yes, that was the initial step, was I did those angel circles, and then my husband, then he was my fiance, he helped me be able to get out of that situation where I was working full time. So then I had more time, one, to plan our wedding, and two,
yeah, that's
a lot
good.
of time, and also to do my angel work, and also continue those angel circles, because that was something that I did for a number of years in the beginning, and over time, the particular person that I was co-facilitating with, he stepped out and started doing his own thing. And then I became the main facilitator. So that was a great transition for me to step into, not just kind of riding on his coattails a little bit,
Right.
Okay, I'm running these circles, and people are coming because I'm the one that's leading them, and it was like the group of people that came shifted.
Of course. And this is so cool. I know it rhymes with Cooley, but it's so amazing how we're kind of floating into this. You were following guidance, and step. Even so, it has shifted over the years. The way it started out is not where it is now, and there are many different steps, and not U-turns necessarily, but different pathways within the primary path of doing the angel work. And that's so important. Can you share with us a little bit about how what you were doing is very different than it's similar, but it's different, right?
Similar to, right, yes, because the angel circles were one thing where I was facilitating, and we were doing the healing with the angels, and then I moved that into more doing one-on-one.
Okay.
One-on-one work, but I also do occasionally, like quarterly, sometimes more than quarterly, workshops where I do group healings, and I also give talks as well. And the one-on-one work that I do is a combination of working in person as well as virtually, such as like on Zoom, like we're on right now.
Exactly.
Yes.
Brand plug.
Brand plug. Not intentional. But isn't it great? You're in Texas, I'm in California, and we're here together.
And the first time we ever connected was by phone through a different platform, and how amazing it is that we can actually share the energy in a whole different way, where people can actually connect. We're not connecting yet, but our energy is connecting with each other, and then with everyone who is going to see this at some point in time. So it's amazing, because when I first started out, I had no idea I'd be doing this, and I've probably said it 100 times. I'm going to say it 101 times. If I had known exactly what they wanted me to do, I would have said, oh, hell no. Shut the door, boarded it, taped it, glued it, nailed it, and said, I'm not doing that.
I know. You can't hear it all at one time or receive it all at one time, right?
No.
Step by step. That's divine guidance.
You can get, more than likely, you had a vision that you were given.
Yes.
And then it's like, okay, so they give you like the periphery. It's kind of like a soft dream that's a little bit filled with mist kind of things.
Yes.
Because, and even though humans say, I want to know the whole thing, you don't, trust me.
No, you don't.
You
You
don't.
don't want to know it all. And then you want to be surprised and see what's going to happen.
Well, and then most of us would say, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You can't make me.
Right? Yes. It's an odyssey. I mean, stepping into our spiritual power, especially as a healer, and having that be our main, vocation,
Yes.
is a step-by-step process, and it's evolution of the years. I mean, I'm now going into my 19th year of doing this work. So it's been a big evolution for me, and also for my confidence as well. My confidence in the work that I do and that my clients have been getting, which are wonderful. And I'm super happy with that. And it just feels like that it's an evolution as I've grown into my confidence, and also in the work with the angels that they're bringing forward to me to bring to my clients as well.
And as you continue to do the work,
yes,
your vibration, your frequency gets higher, so that you're able to receive the information differently. The same, but it's still different. It's clearer. It is deeper. And more than likely, it's information that maybe you don't, is totally new, or you haven't heard of it before. And that's because that's where you are along your journey in working with them. Would that be fair?
Yes, that is fair. That is so true. Our energy shifts as we evolve, right? That happens to all of us. Absolutely.
As long as we're willing to keep taking that next step. And every once in a while, we get to say, okay, I'm going to take a rest just for a moment. Just give me a day, because sometimes the downloads are so huge. It's like, okay. And the human part of us, the physical part of us, gets to process.
So true. I totally agree with that and resonate with that. Sometimes we hear it and we got the guidance, but oh, not quite yet. And then we get
it. Gosh, you want me to do what? Okay, can I just wait a little while? A little while. Yeah, but a little while can be a long while, and they're not waiting that long. So they'll give you tidbits, or in my case, they give me a little bit, and now I know there's more to come. But in the beginning, it was like, okay, this got bigger all of a sudden. Yes. And I'll get into it in the first hour and making an outline for a book or a workshop or something. And I was like, okay, this is more than what you told me. It's like, but at that point, it's you almost don't have a choice to keep going. You almost don't have a choice. Even though we do, we can go, okay, I need to slow this down a little bit, or this and that. When you you decided to, you and your fiance, now your husband, decided that you were going to transition from full-time and start this work, how did you reconcile within yourself to start saying these things out loud? Because it's more accepted now.
Yes.
But there are still times when I'm not hiding, I'm just keeping silent.
I hear you.
So how did you transition from being, I'm not telling anybody, to being out there, to being seen?
Yeah, to being more seen. I would say I really feel like it was as I became more confident that I felt good, as I became more confident to say, hey, this is what I do. And to start telling it to more people. And the words that I use to describe what I do kind of shift a little bit, because I'm an angel therapy practitioner. I'm an angelic medium, but I love spiritual counseling, because that's a big part of what I do. Yeah. So like when I write down my job description, I usually write spiritual counselor.
And that's a little easier, and it's absolutely spot on. It's easier for others to say, okay, I know that. And then once they get into you or into your energy, it's like, okay, right?
Right. So like the way I described it, like saying spiritual counselor, helped me in my evolution of becoming more out in the open as to what I really do. So.
Nice. How do you help your clients with that human fraud factor, or feeling like a fraud, because we're not, but feeling like a
Right.
fraud.
That is a really interesting question. I like that. Feeling like a fraud. Are you talking about like as like in stepping into being a healer?
Yes,
Like
yes,
that?
because, and I remember working with this, well, what do they find out? Sometimes I get really PO'd and I yell at them, and I'm a sailor's daughter, and when nobody's around, those words come out. It's like, I know how I reconciled it, but how do you help your clients reconcile not being perfect on their spiritual path?
Right. That's a great question, because, well, hey, we're human, so we're not perfect, right? Even though we're on our spiritual path. I mean, because we still have the dance with ego. I call it the dance, because it's like it's a daily thing that those ego thoughts come in. And for me, one of the great ways I've been able to help them with that is to help them get the distinction between when they're getting a message from their ego or fear and from the divine, from the angels.
Exactly.
There is a difference, right? So divine guidance is uplifting. It's for the highest good of all, and it's repetitive. I love that. So they're going to make sure if there's a message they want us to receive, that they're going to repeat it.
Yes, and it's okay to ask questions. It's not like us where, oh, you asked me, you're questioning me. No, I'm asking a question. Well, there's no difference. Actually, there is a difference. There's a huge difference when you ask for confirmation or validation. It's okay, and they're all right with it. None of that, they don't have the ego stuff that we get to deal with.
Right, exactly. And ego, all right, as we know, changes. It's not the same, and it can be very negative, including very mean and dark, right? So
and tricky.
And tricky, yes.
And tricky,
yes. Absolutely. So that really helps my clients a lot when I help them get that distinction and give them tools to get out of fear when they're there.
Which is a perfect lead into our next question. Would you share one success story, keeping the confidence of the details, but share one success story of results that one of your clients got with you, working with you in the angels?
Yes. I am thinking of a client of mine who, as a lot of us, we have fears come in, we have worries that come in. And so through our work together, she learned the tools such as calling in the angels to join her, to help her, and also to literally hand over the fears that were coming in.
Nice.
And knowing that there is no limit to how often we could do that, right? So if something's really ruminating, we can do it as many times as we need to let it go.
So what does her life look like now?
I would say her life looks like now is she's more calm, she's more grounded, and she has the tools for when ego does get stirred up, which means like fear, doubt, worry, or anxiety comes up. She has the tools to know she doesn't have to suffer, that she can call in the angels, in particular Archangel Michael, to help clear her of those fears and worries and help clear her energy so that she comes back into her true self and feels more grounded and centered.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk for the rest of the day, I'm sure. It would be very easy. It's always easy for us. It was from the very first time, and that's one of the things I love about doing this side of the work with you, because it just flows easily. And the angels kind of take over, and I'm good with that. I don't have to know everything, and we don't have to practice anything ahead of time, and I don't know why I'm saying all this, but anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here and being open about how you went from full-time and working the Angel Healing Circle part-time to doing this work more full-time, because and it's okay to get that kind of support.
Yes, it's okay to get that kind of support. Absolutely. And I do want to share that I did, in that time frame, I did do some other jobs, like more part-time. And at one point, I even for a year worked full-time when I was pregnant with our son, because I wanted to bring in some extra income before, we had him. So there were various parts to my journey that didn't show up, but I just wanted to add that in. So.
Thank you so much. And please tell our viewers how they can find you.
Yes, you can find me online at rachelcooley.com, and that is RACHEL, Cooley, COOLEY.com. I'm also on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
My business page is Divine Guidance with Rachel Cooley. And on Instagram, I'm Rachel Cooley 444.
Okay, so that's rachelcooley.com.
Yes.
And on Facebook, it is Divine Guidance with or by?
Divine Guidance with Rachel Cooley.
With Rachel Cooley. Excellent. And Instagram is Rachel Cooley 444, which is the number of angels, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Just in case you needed that little piece of trivia.
It's a sign that your angels are extra strongly present with you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, beautiful soul. And you, beautiful soul, for viewing this whenever it is that you stumble upon this. Thank you so much. Do pop by and say hello. Pop a comment, how you work with angels or how this episode helped you or will help you follow your own guided purpose soul path. And be sure to stop by angeldreamteam.com and take a look at our Living Spirit and Wellness Global Directory for empaths. You just never know who you're going to find, and maybe you'll want to join us as well. Until next time, beautiful soul, thank you so much for being with us. And Rachel, thank you.
Thank you, Terry Marie.